Your guys from Seaside. Bob Mathis blowing those horns. That is Max on the Paul Lloyd Warner Busendorfer. And that's Paul there on those skins. And Harley on that bass fiddle there. Nice job, guys. We just love you. Musicians up early in the morning right there. You don't get those just everywhere. So how fun. And what a joy it is to be here with you on the last Sunday of the year. Is that amazing? Oh, my goodness. It just seems like yesterday we were all concerned about YK2. Remember that one? And that was 20 years ago. My goodness, that is amazing. So I'm glad you're here to wrap up the year with us. And whether we are wrapping up the year or beginning the year or starting a service, we always begin with acknowledging that divine presence and holding consciousness as a wonderful practitioner this morning. We have holding the light, Michelle, my goodness. And Michelle is a new practitioner here at Seaside. And we're just excited with the wonderful consciousness that you have brought to the team. And we have our spiritual support center back there. That is where you can fill out prayer requests. So if you're looking to have a practitioner pray all through the week, that is the place you fill out the prayer request. And Michelle and the wonderful team of practitioners will pray on it all week. But today, what you're doing is holding the light and symbolically of just being that place where Spirit comes first and you're holding that space and you're that conduit through which it moves. And so you're not here to receive, just to be that place where Spirit is giving through you and as you. So I light this light symbolic of honoring that ever-present expression of God that is available here. And thank you for holding that. All right. And so everybody enjoy the holidays? Enjoying the holidays? We're still in the midst of them, right? My goodness, it was wild here at Seaside this week. I trust you have been partaking in some of the offerings. Like last Sunday was the candlelight service, and we had people just backed all the way out the door, which was exciting. And then Tuesday, last moment, Peter Sprague called to do his free North County concert. He's been doing it for 40 years, and they got rained out at LaBerge, and he showed up. And once again, people were just oozing out there. It was wild and crazy here. And then Christmas Day, we had dinner for over 100 people. So thank you everyone who came on out and participated with that. It was fun to be able to do the prayer that day and welcome everybody. And so the fun keeps on going. On Tuesday night, we're doing a burning bowl. So if you're interested in letting and releasing the old and embracing the new, this Tuesday night on New Year's Eve around 7 o'clock. It's a burning bowl ceremony. But I'll tell you what's happening right now in this very moment is that you're sitting next to somebody magnificent, somebody wonderful. And I just want to encourage you to stand up, say hello to them, and look at them in the eye. Go, wow.
Seaside.
Good morning.
Stay standing with me. Let's wake up our voices this morning. Wake up our hearts as well. Yes. God is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need. Joy is my source, joy is my power, joy gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, joy gives me everything I need. Love is my source, love is my power, love gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings, love gives me everything I need. Bob Mathis this morning. Peace is my source, Peace is my power. Peace gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. Peace gives me everything I need. One more time now. Love is my source. God is my power. God gives me everything I need. So I give thanks for all my blessings. God gives me everything I need.
Ooh, all right. Hey, Carissa.
Hi.
Man, those are some pants you got going on there.
Fancy pants.
Woo, getting ready for New Year's already.
sir.
That's good. Hey, how's the wedding coming?
Wedding is going great. Going home to St. Louis, Missouri for a couple of weeks to spend time with my mom. I'm really fortunate to have a mom who's alive and well and generous and excited about wedding planning. So
I'm sure she is
Yeah,
excited.
she's
That's good. But not cold.
wee bit.
Yeah, not cold enough for you here.
Yeah, it's going to be a
Gotta
little
go back
chillier there.
Well, hey, thanks for stepping in for our girl. She's down in Mexico doing,
really?
doing like being paid to go down there to sing.
Now who's fancy pants?
Yeah, no, not mine, But anyway, hey, I'm glad you're here. Wonderful. Oh my goodness, and I'm glad you are here. It's just an exciting way to wrap up the year. And if you're here for the first time, just welcome to Seaside. Wherever you are on your spiritual path, know that you are welcome here. And Seaside is a place where we don't ask you to turn off your cell phones. We encourage you to take them out, check in, let people know that you are here. You can even take pictures and show them or record it. Tell your friends you can even watch it live. We got the live streaming going on, and there's this online virtual community. We know you're there because every Sunday at 11 o'clock our time, they get together and they start chatting. I'm talking and they're talking at the same time. That doesn't happen in here, okay? But there it's appropriate. So we love you guys. Thank you for the wonderful ministry that's orchestrated by our practitioners that handle that chat room. There's just a lot of good that has happened at Seaside this year. And in 2020, our intention as we have put out there is for every member of this community and friend, it is about a year of prosperous living. You up for that for 2020? Woo! So one of the things you do is you wrap up with gratitude your path that has got you to this moment, because what lies before you is magnificent, and whatever that path has been perfect to get you there. And we have a powerful prayer practitioner in Annie Prescott. She is a nurse, so she knows how to bring care to us. Take us there, a little bit deeper.
Thank you, Dr. Christian. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for coming. Now is the time of our service that we come together in spirit, go from our heads into our hearts. So close your eyes, take a deep breath in, blow it out, let go of everything it got to get you here today, and join me in the silence in love. Feeling and knowing this loving divine essence and power is the spark within each and every one here. Absolutely everything is the divine expressing. Our physical eyes only see one octave. As we go inside, our vision becomes clear. As we let go of the past decade with forgiveness and love, we look for evidence and expectation and joy of only good going on here. Only healing goes on here. God is forever, everywhere present, all-knowing, all-feeling, and omnificent, which is the all-creative energy that we engage for this new decade in our 2020 vision of love, joy, happiness, abundance, peace, and prosperity.
God is real. God is magnificent. God is light. God is love. I am real. I am magnificent. I am light. I am love. You are real. You are magnificent. You are light. You are love.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Reverend Rebecca. I've been a licensed minister for 20 years now. I'm also a head of the Practitioner Core Council of the Practitioners, and we welcome you to Seaside, a loving, healing, spiritual, joyful spiritual community where everyone is welcome. If this is your first time here, we have a wonderful gift packet for you that you can get back there that tells all about us and has some really good goodies in it. So for my reading today, I picked one of the best books in our bookstore. Living from the Mountaintop, Be the Mystic You Were Born to Be by Christian Sorensen. Walking with the Spirit of the Mystic. Each experience calls for you to awaken that deeper knowing inside. You can fall into a pit of gloom and despair, never to emerge again, or you can choose to be free and embrace the sorrow and find life there. When you realize you are expressing as consciousness, knowing itself, you'll transform the world around you because you'll have every resource in the universe in your repertoire. Do you have room for a greater expression, or are you holding on to the despair so tightly you've forgotten you were just passing through? If you were walking down the street with your hands full of groceries, phone, mail, a cup of coffee, and you saw a beautiful multifaceted gem sitting on the ground, but your capacity was full, what would you do? Would you put something down to pick up that gem? Life is always offering you gems, but are you creating space for the new possibilities presenting themselves to you?
Thank you, Reverend Rebecca. And thank you, Reverend Christian, for crafting those words for so many people. I'm sure that's touched very many lives at this point. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited this morning to welcome a friend of mine and a friend of yours to Seaside. She is San Diego's 2019 Artist of the Year from the San Diego Music Awards. Yes, yes, yes. She has a brand new record coming out on February 21st, and we're going to celebrate that record release on March 26th at the Belly Up. So you can find more information at whitneyshea.com. Ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome from Ms. Whitney Shea.
Good morning, Seaside. Okay, 9 a.m., we weren't quite awake yet. So 11 a.m., we've had a couple hours to sleep in, so we're going to be awake, right? All right, here we go. Clap your hands with me now. Everybody look around, cause I've reason to rejoice, you see. Everybody come out, let's commence to sing it joyfully. Everybody look up and feel the hope that we've been waiting for. Everybody's glad because the silent fear and dread is gone. Freedom you see, it's got a heart singing so joyfully. Just look about, you want to yourself to check it out. Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel Everybody's glad because the sun is shining just for us. Everybody wake up into the morning, into happiness. Hello world, here's the hope that we've been waiting for, yes. Thank you world, because the silent fear and dread is gone, yes. Freedom you see, it's got our hearts singing so joyfully. Just look about, you owe it to yourself to check it out. Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? Yeah. Can you feel a brand new day? Come on, Bob. On the saxophone. Yeah, everybody be glad because the sun is shining just for us. Everybody wake up into the morning, into happiness. Come on. Hello, Seaside. Here's the hope that we've been waiting for, yes. Thank you, well, because the silent fear and dread is gone. Freedom you see, it's got our hearts singing so joyfully. Just look about, you owe it to yourself to check it out. You know what? We gotta get these people singing. Can y'all help me out now? All right, here we go. I'm gonna sing, you're gonna repeat after me. Can you feel a brand new day? Now,
Can you feel a brand new day?
I don't feel it yet. Can you feel a brand new day?
Can you feel a brand new day?
Can you feel a brand new day?
Can you feel
Let's go, boys, come on
brand new
now.
day?
Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new day? Hey, can you feel a brand new day? Thanks, Seaside.
That is Whitney Shea, San Diego's musical artist of 2019, voted. And right here on our stage, and yes, we can feel it. Woo! Also kind of flashy top there, man. I missed the flash memo this morning or something. Very, very nice. And Rebecca, I know. It's like I'm the only one who doesn't have pants like that. But that'd be some party I'd be going to if I was wearing that. Anyway, oh man, can you feel a brand new day? Can you feel a brand new year? Can you feel a brand new decade knocking at the door? It's an exciting time, and here at Seaside, just committed to assisting you to embrace it, accept it, and feel it, because as we move into this new year, I want for you so much to be able to live your dreams, to be able to live the abundant life that you have chosen for yourself. Our whole vision for 2020 is for you to be able to live prosperously. A year of prosperous living is our theme that's coming up. And so what we did is, inside the program this week, I gave you, it says, my vision and intention for my life in 2020. I want this for you. This year is committed to supporting you to experience that. But you have got to be clear as to what it is you want to experience. You have got to be clear as to what your future is looking like. 2020 vision is about seeing perfectly. And what I want you to do is to be able to see perfectly your new year. So every year, probably since the days George was here. George, welcome home. First graduating class of practitioners, George and his wife, Jo Florid, more than 30 years ago, I threw them into teaching right out of class. And our legacy of practitioners is still carries a Florid consciousness for sure. But anyway, So what we do is we ask you to fill this out, and you get to fill out this vision and your intention, and on the bottom it tells you what to do, to put it in a self-addressed stamped envelope. Self-addressed, so it finds its way back to you. Stamped, so I don't have to pay for it. And sealed, so you know nobody's secretly looking at it. And then what I want you to do is bring it in next week, and we're going to have this prayer chest, or your treasure chest, if you would, my visions and intentions for 2020, and it's going to be sitting back there in the prayer center, and it sits there all year. So it literally gets prayed on all year long, and then come December, we pull them out, and we put them in the mail, and we send them back to you. Anybody get theirs this week? Yeah? How'd it turn out? Anything good in there? Life changed for the better? That's good. All right. You decided not to move to Kauai. Well, we're grateful, but I would have had a place to visit. I do like Kauai, you know. Anybody else get theirs this week? First service, yeah. Kathleen.
Everything went very differently than I expected, but there were more abundance than I
More abundance than you predicted. Well, that's okay. See, it's right that we live in an abundant life. And so the 2020 vision is about seeing with a clarity. You know, you've got to be clear as to where you're going, or you're going to get sucked into distractions along the way. And before you know it, you're at the end of the year, and you didn't make it to where, you know, you thought you wanted to go. And where you wanted to go, it's kind of stirring in your soul. It's in your spirit. You may not be able to articulate it, which is why I'm asking you to take some time this week to sit down and don't just think it, ink it, is how the saying goes. I want you to write it down on that piece of paper, take a picture of it, and keep it so you come across it occasionally through the next year. But we're going to pray over it over the course of the year because, without a vision, people perish, is what Proverbs says. It's one of my favorite quotes. I've had the sign sitting on my wall above my bookcase for years until this year when it fell behind the bookcase, which is probably not a good omen. So I am now committing to all of you, I'm going to dig it out because 29th Proverb, verse 18, it says, without the vision, the people perish. What happens is we move into distractions. What happens is we get pulled in ways that don't support what it is we want to experience. Yolanda Vincent, wonderful expression of life, talks about vision. Without the vision, one gets sidetracked. And she has her whole sorts of training about assisting you to get clear and to move forward in the way that supports your magnificence. And so I want you to see clearly so you can put that down. And what helps sometimes is those areas that begin to stir in you that may look like discontent. I don't know if any of you have areas in your life that feel like discontent, but you can label it divine discontent and recognize that there's something inside of you that is stirring, that desires more. It may not be exactly clear as to what it is, but if there's something stirring, if there's something yearning, if there is a want, I know the Buddhists say you don't want, but we're using it in a positive way to help gain clarity for that perfect vision, because without a goal, you can't score. You've got to have a map as to where it is you're going. And so for that 2020 vision, I'm asking you to see clearly right now, perfectly, not blurry, but perfectly, what it is that you would like to see your life looking like at the end of this year. Are you up for that task this week? Woo, okay. That is your assignment, because what happens is that life starts moving and you fall back upon, some of the past memories and what, people had said about you, and you begin to not think as big or dream as big because there's a sense of maybe not as worthy as much, and so we forget how to dream because we're not writing them down, we're not accepting them, we're not embracing them, we're not being bold with it, and so what happens is we begin to slip away from where it was and just become content. And progress isn't made by content people. Things get interesting when someone starts rattling the bars of their own cage. That's when it gets interesting. But if you're just sitting around content, everything is fine, it's okay if you like it like that. But I think life is about progression. It is moving forward. It is unfolding. It's newness that comes along that can inspire us. And so I'm encouraging you to do that, to be bold, to be courageous, and to put that down. There was a fun line from Robin Williams' movie, Good Morning Vietnam. I don't know if you remember it. It's like one of my favorite movies. But his companion or sidekick, Edward Garlick, but it's... Anyway, kind of boring guy, was riding the bike down the street, and he lost control, and he fell off the bike, and his head went down, and a truck just missed his head by that much. And he was recounting the experience to Robin Williams, and he said the scariest part of all that, in that moment when my head was down, my life passed before my eyes, and what was scariest is it wasn't interesting at all. Now that would be scary. I want 2020 to be interesting for you. I want it to be dynamic. I want it to be exciting. I want it to be a year of prosperous living. And when I'm talking about prosperous living, I'm talking about, being free. I'm talking about peaking health. I'm talking about your creative expression. I'm talking about you being compensated for your gifts. I'm talking about a positive cash flow. I am talking about a freedom so you can contribute to where your heart desires. This is the kind of prosperous living I am holding for you. And it is right for you to be prosperous. It's not right for you to be all concerned how you're going to pay bills. That's not what you're here for. You've been brought here with a calling, something that is here to stir your soul, something that has called you into this life. And maybe you've heard that before. You've heard that stirring, that yearning, that desire, that something stands up in the back of your neck because you knew this was mine to do. And you've been doing it, and it's been feeling good. But something I want you to recognize about callings is it doesn't mean that that's forever. If you take on a particular direction and it has served you, sometimes callings is time to say goodbye to what was and hello to what's next. Sometimes it means it's time to let go of that experience or whatever it was that served you, that did you well. But there's something new that wants to emerge, and it takes courage to do that. Oprah Winfrey. Now, she was courageous, but I'm not going there. I'm talking from her book that all of us got. You still probably can get them at our bookstore. The Path Made Clear is the perfect book to end the year and to start the year with. And she was talking about callings when she starts this book. And she says, there is no greater gift you can give or receive than to honor your calling. It's why you were born and how you become most truly alive. You get to decide. Am I going to live intentionally here? Because intentional living is you make the choice rather than others making the choice for you. You got that? So that's good to get. Intentional living is you make the choice for yourself as opposed to society or the culture or your family or others making the choice for you. And so what I want to encourage you to do this week is something you can do, we know, any day of the week, any week of the year. But being it's the end of the year, it is a great time to align yourself with that energy that is about, casting a new frequency. It is a wonderful time to take an inventory of your life and your world and say, okay, what is it that I want to leave in the past decade? It may have been a calling, may have served me, maybe it didn't serve me. But you know what? I'm not here to sit judgment. I'm here to take an inventory and say, you know what? I'm going to say goodbye to this and leave it in the old decade. And I'm going to say hello and bring into this new decade that which is going to serve me. So I'm going to leave behind which doesn't. I'm going to bring into that which does, and I'm going to create. So there's 3 assignments for you on this week of self-exploration. One is, what am I going to leave in the past? What am I going to bring into the future? And what is it that I'm going to create? And I want you to write those things down. I mean, we've started that around here at Seaside. As you know, Callie and I did the solstice ritual, and we asked everybody to write what it is they wanted to let go of. And we took it home and we burned them one by one and prayed. And if you didn't get to do it with Callie and I for the solstice, you can do it with Dr. Christina on Tuesday night at our New Year's Eve service. She does this burning bowl ritual that is powerful. What is it that I'm going to leave? And then we wrote out what it is that I'm going to create. We get to decide, this is what I'm going to bring into my life and into my world. I'm going to be intentional here. I'm going to listen to this. I'm going to have this 2020 vision, and there's something that I may not be able to articulate yet, but it stirs. I can feel it. I sense it. What is it that is my purpose in this coming year, in my life? That is, when you have a dynamic purpose, then all your decisions are moved through that matrix. It's moved through that screen, that vision, that slide. Does it support this? My personal one is, I was here to inspire people to hear their inner voice and be led by that. That was my whole book that Reverend Rebecca was reading from. The whole thing is to be inspired by your own spirit and be led by that. Seasides, as you know, it is to be a thriving spiritual community that inspires you to live your divinity. We're here to inspire you to live your divinity. That's a pretty big purpose statement that, how are we doing? Okay, I know we can do better than that in 2020, which is why we have these great spiritual classes to inspire you to live your divinity, to bring forth the mystical connection of your being. It's why we have this healing center in our sanctuary where the prayers are going on to inspire us to feel that presence, to feel that life force. It's why we have our junior church, is so we can inspire our children to feel their value, to know their self-worth, to know their calling, to know their purpose in life. This is what Seaside is here to do in this coming year for your prosperous living. We are here to inspire you to live your divinity, not just talk about it, but to live it, to bring it into your life, to bring it into your world. And it shows up with this inspiration inside, maybe not in clear pictures, but maybe with clear 2020 vision this year, maybe you'll see it. But maybe it's just an inkling or a hunch, a little whisper. The divine discontent. That's something that tells you, there's more that wants to birth itself, and I'm going to become available. See, that's the key here, as I got to be available to that presence. Because in our dynamic expression, I'm not going to move until God speaks to me. You ever hear that one? I'm waiting until God shows me, until God answers. I've got to fill you in, which you probably already know, is God's already spoken. You're the one who can't hear. You're the one who hasn't felt it. You're the one who hasn't grasped it, because Spirit is omnipresence, and the omnipotence, the all-powerful, the omniscience, the all-knowing is right there. And the universe conspires to bring you your good. So you're the one whose head is so cluttered with the noise, the chatter, the fear, the anxiety, the past that you're somehow bringing forward that I'm now telling you to leave behind. Ernest says, change your thinking and you change your life. That's what we're asking you to do, is to have that shift and make yourself available. Available to what? Well, clear out the lenses and have the 2020 vision of what lies before you so you know where it is you're going. Because Spirit is there. It's speaking. The Talmud, the Talmud said every blade of grass has an angel whispering, grow, grow, grow. If blade of grass, we know we've all been kissed by angels, but some have never thought about puckering. It's like that divine transference is ready to be yours. But what excuses are you making, or are we making? Because we're dragging that past into the future. I had people share with me it's that they can't do something because of that I don't know, it didn't work out for whatever. I can't. You say I can't. I want to go back to college. I was for a year. I got 3 years. I don't have 3 years. I'm 44 now. If I went to college to get my degree, I'd be 47. And my response is always, and if you didn't go back to college, how old would you be in 3 years? That kind of reasoning doesn't hold weight, but we try to bring the past forward. And here's a tool for you to use if you find yourself trying to get yourself to believe those excuses, and you got the chatter going on and the noise in your mind, so you're not available for the omnipresence to download its clear vision of 2020, and you're saying God's not there. Yes, God's there. I'm the one who's not hearing. So here's a tool. A long way around. You just say, up until now. Someone went through a busted relationship and their partner left them, they're feeling unworthy. You get to say, up until now. I was a great business person and something went askew and now I've just been struggling up until now. I got pregnant at 16, so I'm never going to be able to have a career up until now. This is how you leave that stuff in the past. I like what Mark Victor Hansen and Jack Canfield used. They used when they get like a no or some rejection, they go, next. Next, Colonel Sanders, his story, right? They tell it all the time that, he tried to sell his stuff. He went to 300 different people to sell his Colonel Sanders KFC recipe to. He got turned down 300 times. He learned to reject the rejections. And now, it's in over 80 countries or 10,000 places. It's like you get to say, okay, next. What's next here? And so Mark Victor Hansen and Jack share the story of their chicken soup for the soul. They tell how in the spring in 91, they went to New York with their agent. They met several publishers, put their manuscript out there and got turned down by everyone. They said short stories, anthologies just don't sell. There's no build up, to the book. And besides, your title just stinks. Chicken soup for the soul makes no sense. And so they came back, a little rejected, but they went ahead and distributed another 20. Nothing happened. Then they did the mass mailing. Now they've got, over 60, 70 rejection slips. And they sat down and said, what's next? See, that's the key here. Next. And so they said, well, we're both speakers. A lot of people come hear us. Let's just create a sign-up form and pre-sell our books. Not collect any money, just get the names, the addresses, and their commitment to buy a book when it comes out. They went ahead and did that. And over the next several months, they gathered 20,000 slips of paper from people who said, promise they'll buy their book when it comes out. So the spring of 92, the American Booksellers Association's annual convention was in Anaheim, a 2-day convention. And for the first day, they took their manuscripts up and down, talked to every publisher around, nobody. Next day, at the end of 2 days, they finally found this struggling publishing company that nobody had heard of. That was about their niche was addiction and recovery. It's called Health Communications. They took Chicken Soup for the Soul, and the rest is history. They went on. That first edition sold over 8 million copies, translated into 39 languages. Oh, and those promise slips, he said nearly all 20,000 of them responded. One guy actually bought 1,700 of the books. And when Mark was telling us this story in 93, when we were in Jimmy Durante, and George, you were probably there for that, he said that a guy from a place called, it wasn't Costco, it's called Price Club, by the name of Saul, just ordered 50,000 of these books. I think this book has potential. And it's like, so it's not working. Next. What's next here? That's what we have got to ask ourselves. You've got to be ready and willing, because I got to tell you, God is able. You ever doubt that Spirit can move mountains, then why would you think it's holding back on you? You're the one who's not listening. You got to leave the noise and the garbage in the last decade and make yourself available and have space for the emergence. For when that vision comes from that deep place of your soul, it begins to bring with it the ways, the means, the new possibilities, the missions. You have this purpose that, I'm going to inspire people to live their divinity. What does it look like? Well, in February, got Von Prague coming here. That matches. You hear him, there's life beyond what we can see. It's just, what is it that we do? Those children is absolutely something that we do that supports that. As you become clearer as to what it is and where you're going, and you begin to see ways and possibilities. Rumi, he said that the beauty of what you love be what you do. Very nice. Right? Let the beauty of what you love be what you do. What is it you want to be doing? You can do that. You've got this calling. You've got this gift. You've got this purpose. You got to do it. That's what you're here to do. And maybe you were right on track in the past in your life. That's a beautiful thing. But maybe it's time to say goodbye to that and hello to what is next for you. You can't continue to live in what was, even though it may have been magnificent and wonderful and terrific. What is where Spirit expresses. The isness of the divine is in this present moment. And so you got to recognize you're worthy. You can't be dragging the past because something happened and I'm not worthy. You've got to know that you're worthy. Let's say you had $1 million racehorse, and what's its purpose? To win races, right? I mean, you got $1 million, I better win some races. And every time it ran, it won $1 million. How would you take care of that racehorse? Pretty good. You wouldn't be feeding it junk food, would you? You wouldn't be running it into the ground with ridiculous stuff. You would make sure it got enough rest, it took care of itself, maybe an occasional massage here and there. Well, what I want you to get is you are that $1 million racehorse. You are that key to your company, your business, your life, and you have got to treat yourself like that $1 million expression that you are. And that doesn't mean everything's perfect in the company or in your world. You go to some very successful companies, you get behind the door, there's some messes going on. But that's just part of life. There's some messes. You clean them up. You work on it. You don't live in this illusion. It's all perfect. Well, in the absolute level it is. But in this relevant level, you've got to be present enough to be conscious enough to know what it is I need to do here to help clean things up a little bit. Because, there is, something that's going on. But I got to trust that I'm worthy, that I'm spirit expressing, that I've got what it takes. And I have what it takes to get where it is I'm going. And I know where I'm going because I filled out this vision intention form and I dropped it in that prayer box in the back of the room. And it's being prayed on. I know I'm getting there. I'm not quite sure yet. But what I know is this is the vision. My 2020 vision is looking clear. It's not blurry. I've got this goal. So, of course, I'm going to score. I'm not going to be distracted along the way. And I have got spirit moving through me. I got a power. So you got to stop hanging out with those who are telling you can't do it. You got anybody who tells you, oh, don't dream so big. It's not possible. Or maybe it's possible, but maybe you want to shrink. I can remember when I used to play tennis in high school. It's part of the tennis team there. And I wasn't like the great player on the team. I was maybe on the lower end of the tennis team. But what I learned is, there are some guys like the number 1 and number 2 guys, they were ranked. They knew how to play tennis and they were just smoking hot. And so I learned that, they wouldn't actually play against me. But if they would, I kind of got a little sharper. But what we would do sometimes is play doubles. And when I was playing with the number 1 and 2 next to me, man, I was hot stuff. All of a sudden I felt a lot stronger and better. And those shots I would only try in practice, man, I would begin to hit them down the line with everything I had. I began to hit harder. I'd stretch better. And if I missed it, I knew, the guys behind me had it covered. And I was like playing at my best when I was playing with the best. And, my game just grew exponentially because of that. Well, I want you to get who you're playing with in this thing called life is God, or the all-knowing, or the infinite, the all-wise, that which is perfect whole, the absolute, the abundant, that very first breath, that cause of my being, that which created all things, the intelligence that guides the universe. It knows what to do in my life. But I just got to recognize that, who's at my side here is that spirit. And that spirit is capable. But I got to be willing to put myself out there. Pablo Picasso says, I do those things I don't know how to do so I can learn how to do them. Wow, that kind of makes sense. I do those things I don't know how to do so I can learn how to do them. That's how you're going to learn how to do what you don't know how to do. And you got this down on this goal sheet of yours, and you're just going to keep putting it in front of you. Okay, this doesn't support my world at this point. I'm going to let it go. Maybe I didn't get it at the end of December, but now it's March. I got it. It came to the surface, and I recognize it doesn't support. I can let it go. I don't need to beat myself up that I didn't let it go in December when Christian asked me to. I just now get how it's impacting the forward thrust. Just because I have had this calling for 20 years working in a particular environment doesn't mean that it has to remain the same. There's something inside of me, and I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's life. It's exciting. It gets me going. There's a power. There's a passion. And I just know that, with spirit, all things are possible. And so I'm going to not just think it, I'm going to ink it, I'm going to put it down, and I'm going bold. I'm going with that presence of God. And I know that if I'm ready and I'm willing, of course, God is able. And so what I want to do this morning is end with a quote that we're probably all familiar with because it comes from one of our own, Henry David Thoreau. And it is well used. And it will leave you, thinking. I hope. And where it says if one, I'm going to go you, because I figure it's more valuable if it's you. But if you advance confidently in the direction of your dreams and endeavor to live the life which you have imagined, you will meet with a success unexpected in common hours. You will put some things behind and will pass an invisible boundary that's new, it's universal, and more liberal laws will begin to establish themselves around and within you. Or the old laws will begin to expand and interpret in your favor in a more liberal sense, and you will live with the license of a higher order of being. And if you have built castles in the air, your work need not be lost. That is where they should be. Now, put the foundation under them. I look forward to work with you in this year of prosperous living as you lay the foundations for those visions you're willing to claim now. God bless us. 2020. Well, this is another Sunday, but the last Sunday of this decade. And it is a time in which we get to listen to our heart and just feel the appreciation swell up for a wonderful decade of love and spiritual growth, to reflect upon how Spirit has walked beside you through the tough times, the joyous times, but somehow there's been that ace, that number one player, if you would, that source right next to you, no matter what you have faced. I know you've come through it because you're sitting here today. It's time to feel that and sense that. And so it is in this moment that we have the opportunity to share our gift. And so with that, I'd like to invite our ushers to come forward and know that it is a gift that comes from our heart and our soul, and that we can't outgive God, but rather we participate in that God expression, and that it's an extension of our consciousness. It's an expression of our love. It is the activity that God is having in our life. And life reciprocates. You know, it comes back. It's not why we do it, but this is how it works. If there aren't strings and stipulations, there is this reciprocal, this circulation of God's good that multiplies back into our life. And so I invite you to listen to your heart and feel that appreciation, give that thanks, and know that your gift makes a significant difference. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank all those who mail in your contributions. There's a lot at the end of the year. They just... and those at home, we know that you're there and sending your support. We thank you, and our love goes out. And don't hesitate to send in the prayer requests, because we pray daily on those. And those who participate in the regular auto giving, that says that, you know what, I'm part of the regular support. And that regularity, it makes a difference as we journey. And so I share this prayer of gratitude with the most generous of spiritual communities, knowing that this truly is a blessed moment where the fullness and the grace and the good of God truly expands as our very life. So it's in this givingness that there is a stirring of the soul, the expansion of a greater sense of freedom, knowing that there's a freedom to be that conduit through which the good passes. It is not mine to hold on to, but rather I am a tap, an avenue, a conduit to the infinite reservoir that pours through each and every one of us in an inexhaustible kind of ways, bringing the blessings to wherever it is that we're pointing and sharing it. For as that Spirit flows through, we discover a greater peace and a greater sense of security that it is Spirit that we base our life and our abundance and our good upon. And that as we step into this year of prosperous living, we find ourselves becoming more generous, more expressive, and are able to live with a greater sense of well-being, knowing that the source is God. So I say thank you, Father, Mother, God, for this opportunity to share this light and this life and this love. And so it's given in joy, it's given in lightness, it's given with appreciation, and what we find is this ever-expanding good showing up as our experience now, and so it is. Amen. And together, let us say this affirmation of abundance, which is, Spirit continues to bless my world. Gratefully, I live as the giving expression of Spirit, opening the floodgates of the affluent flow of greater good as my life now. Your guys from Seaside. Man, we love you. And I stand before this abundant expression of love, for truly this is an expression of love that carries with it the vibration from your heart and your soul. And it is received with a sense of appreciation, with a sense of joy. That love is truly felt at that deep level, and it is just embraced with that sense of well-being. It is handled in good service. It is handled in good stewardship, and it's sent forth to bring that love and that caring and that joy back to everyone it comes in contact. Thank you, Father, Mother God, for allowing each of us to be part of this ever-expanding, abundant expression of good. And so it is. Amen. All right. Hey, this is Mark Sands, recently back from trekking the Himalayas, and your board treasurer, and has brought a wonderful, abundant consciousness to Seaside, and just grateful to your wonderful guidance in that arena. So, all right. Yes, Mark Sands right there. Right here, Whitney Shea, my goodness. Also voted Best Blues Singer in San Diego for many years in a row. And it's just a joy. And so where are you gigging on New Year's Eve?
The Marine Room.
Woo, all right. Well, I hope it's a wild ocean crashing against the way. And Carissa, thank you for stepping in here this morning, being that wonderful expression, part of the family. I know you're going to be down in Palm Springs, rocking them down there in the desert somewhere. I assume that was Palm Springs. Palm Springs, okay. Well, have fun. You be safe. Giving us sound today, Steve Grant stepped in last minute, got a call from Ed, who's in Tennessee, couldn't get on the plane because of weather, and Steve stepped in. So thank you very much, Steve Grant. Next to him is Marv. Nice job, Marv. Always appreciate the visuals, for sure. Wonderful camera crew. We got 3 cameras going on, and we have got film editors live switching in our editing room, and it's going out literally to hundreds, if not 1,000 individuals that watch this in the course of the week. So we love you. We pray with you. Don't hesitate to communicate back with us. We're here for you. So you are part of the Seaside family for sure. So. I'll tell you what, it's a wonderful year happening at Seaside. We've got classes starting in 2020. As I said, it's part of our purpose is to inspire that divinity that is within us. We have James Bond Prague tickets are going on sale for the beginning of February. We've got just wonderful things that are happening. Take a look at the educational catalog. Plan to be here Tuesday night if you want to burn out the old and embrace the new. Dr. Christina will guide you through that. There is a lot of good that's happening in your spiritual community, and none of which is unavailable to any of you. It's there. And the Juju Church is even available. If you ever want to come and contribute 1 hour a month to work with our children, it is a gift to you as well as them. But I'll tell you what, anybody want to share anything with me this morning? Yes.
We worked on our goals.
Oh, you did? So did we. You want to share one of your goals?
For fun, I did paint.
Paint. Oh, yeah? You're going to be a painter. Are you a painter already?
Not really.
Oh, okay. Well, I want one of your paintings when you do one. Okay. Hey, you were our drummer girl at the candlelight service. How did it feel to stand in front of 400 or 500 people? Did you like that? Couldn't see them, huh? Well, what did you want to say?
It's my birthday.
It's your birthday? Well, happy birthday. You're a gift to all of us. So I just know it's going to be a fabulous, exciting year. So what are you, 16, 17 now? Do you drive yet? Yeah, well.
I'm 8.
You're 8. Oh, my goodness. Well, happy birthday. I'm glad you shared your 8th birthday with all of us. So. Birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday, dear McKenna, happy birthday to you. Hey! And let's share our affirmation for all our children, and that is, we see you, we love you, and we support you in your magnificence. And with that said, I'm going to pray us out, but the last Sunday of the month is our Prayer Wall Sunday. And what that means is I invite all of our licensed religious science practitioners to come stand up here. And when I'm done praying, we all sing, and after all of us sing, then you come up and receive a personal prayer. It feels kind of good. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't cost anything. If you're working on releasing anything in the past year, let them know. They can pray for that. If you're working on embracing anything new, they can pray for that. You don't have to have anything going wrong, or you can have something going wrong you want cleaned up. It's all possible. So our practitioners, come stand up here with us. And, George, you're always good at Seaside as a practitioner. Bring your consciousness. We keep them short prayers. We call it telescopic brevity. So you come up, you share what's going on, and then they'll pray. But first, I'll pray. And it's with just a sense of joy. It is the sparkle that is in the pants and the coats that are on this stage. It is the life, it is the love, it is the excitement, it is the recognition of the divine presence that I am, that you are, that God is. For the truth of being is right here in this moment. It is profound, it is right, it is real, it is God. God being made manifest through each and every one of us. For the fullness and the blessings of Spirit absolutely has its way. I feel it, I sense it, and know that I speak from this revelation, this realization of the good that is already. I come to recognize that I'm not waiting for God to speak, but rather I'm clearing the space so I can hear the wonderful proclamation, affirmation, declaration of the divine truth about my life, your life, that God's life is expressing in this new year in ways that are magnificent, that exceed expectations. And courageously, I allow myself to be available for that greater yet to be that is seeking to birth itself in this moment through each and every one of us. We can feel that stirring, that calling, that yearning, that desire to stretch and boldly say yes and claim it and pull it in to a clearer 2020 vision for this year 2020 that is coming. For with God, all things are possible. God is the ace, is the number one partner that I'm playing with. How about you in this new year? For Seaside is praying for every member of this community for a year of prosperous living. It is already decreed, and so in consciousness, it is just now waiting to find its expression for those that make themselves available for the greater good in the new that is, letting go of that which was without regret, letting go of any pains with forgiveness and allowing what was to be and being available for what is, which is the divine manifesting greater good as our life. So know that the body is the temple of God, that this body is the body that God expresses in this dimension with. And feel the stirring, the activation of the cells and the tissue of the physical being, realigning, coming alive, becoming more vibrant. Feel the nurturing power and the presence that is moving through your body, nurturing every aspect of your being in this moment. There is a health-filled moment, and anything unlike it just naturally dissolves and released into the nothingness from which it came. It remains in the past decade. Prayer requests that I brought forward that reach out, I know every one is answered. For Stephen Murphy's ankle, Stephanie Murray's broken ankle, I know that it's a physical experience that is pain and difficult to move, but for Stephanie, I know a perfect healing that is going on. The mobility and the flexibility returns, and the ease and the grace to dance into this new year is hers. For Bonnie Dishman, who's lying in hospital, broken back and spine, things, I know those are the physical experiences, but for her, right there's a healing that is going on. The bones are coming back together, a new level of confidence for walking and stability and equilibrium as she races this planet with her self-expression. The presence of God is her partner right there. And for Elizabeth Brewmeister's son, Jim, we know that he is perfect, whole, and complete, and that the attack or the issue that his heart had is just calling for whatever it needs to be known, but there's a perfect rhythm that returns, a perfect healing, a perfect strength, a perfection of the wonderful balance and the movement of the flowing in and the out that is His. And for Mom, for Elizabeth, that she is surrounded by the love and the support to move through this time with a sense of family. For there's something good that's going on in this community, that Seaside is growing, that it is thriving. It is a thriving spiritual community that is successfully inspiring us to live our divinity, our natural heritage, to live within the abundant self-expression of our calling. That our relationships are the laboratories of our soul's evolution, and we begin to trust those to become more honest and intimate and integrous. Something good's going on. I can feel it for this family, this spiritual family. The presence of God is alive. It is dynamic. It is in the forefront. It is revealing the vision, the calling that we're able to say yes to, that personalizes its touch for each and every one of us, and that we find the courage to create the space and recognize that the potential is greater than any of the problems that have come our way, that we no longer put our energy on the negative and get caught in that negative spiral, but begin to look at the potential and the possibilities and the vision and the intentions and the goals in which we score successfully, bringing the greater good to humanity, because we are alive and dynamic expressions of life and light. For truly, we have a vision. As Proverbs says, without a vision, the people perish. We have this vision. And it's with excitement that we step into this new day. It's a brand new day. Take to the streets and sing with that kind of joy. And I'm grateful that it is our truth, that it is manifesting, that is happening here and now. I don't have to know how, but what I do know is that I'm able to see it, I sense it, I feel it, I experience it in every cell of my being. My soul vibrates with the presence of God, and this I am grateful for. I'm thankful that the words I've spoken, they're the truth, they're manifesting, that this truly is a year of prosperous living for all of us who are part of this Seaside consciousness. And every prayer request that is brought forward is answered. Every intention statement that is made, that is prayed on over the course of the year, is already so. I know that as a fact in the mind of God, expressing itself in the lives of the requestees. The opening has been made, and I am grateful. I'm grateful for the yearning, the discontent, or whatever that may be, that has made me available for the greater good. I'm grateful it's happening, it's unfolding. We live in this abundant, fluent flow of life, and I let go to this, I trust this, I believe this with an unshakable conviction and a deep faith that it has its way in this moment. And so it is. Amen.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all for myself. I didn't know the love of God was sufficient. I didn't know the love of God was at hand. And now I can say, if you are discouraged, struggling just to make it through another day, you've got to let it go, let it all go. And this is what you have to say. Come on, Seaside. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go. I let the Spirit run my life, and my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Okay, Seaside, one more time for 2019. I said no more struggle, no more strife. With my faith I see the light. I am free in the Spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
And our affirmation for the week is, I see my life as Spirit sees it now. Together, I see my life as Spirit sees it now. Touch your heart and say it again. I see my life as Spirit sees it now. One more time like it's your truth. I see my life as Spirit sees it now. And our song of grace.
I'm living in love, I'm living in peace, I'm living my life for what I believe. Through joys and through fears, in this world I walk, God's grace shines on me, and it shines on us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in love. We're living in peace. United we stand as one family. We honor all truth as together we walk. God's grace moves through me and it moves through us all. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace. We are living in grace.
Come on up, receive prayer. We're here for you. It feels good. Start the new year right.